We were just eating fruit. I took the day off today, and we took the baby out to go see some farm animals, and drove through our country locales, picked up some fruit at some local markets, some local side of the road sort of carts. Got some nice stuff. Uh, yeah, summer's coming to an end. This is the last weekend of summer. Unfortunately, it's the saddest time of the year for me. Dang, I just wish we could go right back into spring and summer. Winter is not my forte. It's not my favorite thing. It's doom and gloom and yucky and cold as all heck here. We're in hardiness zone 6. If you have not watched me before, we're in southern Ontario in Canada. We get a serious winter, but our zone has been bumped up within the last couple years from a 5B to a 6, and that's nice. We're able to grow some more things than we used to in a zone 6 now. But yet, here we go. It's all coming to a close. Look at, we're about to have sunset. The trees look so pretty this time of year. Everything's about to start changing. Leaves are starting to drop and fall from my trees. Some of them are changing color. My ostrich ferns are wilting and dying. It's okay. It's the start of a new season. And we still have some time left before the snow falls. Sometimes we get snow come Halloween. Sometimes we don't get snow until Christmas. It really just depends on the year. My prediction this year is we're having an early fall. It's getting cold. Last night was 54 degrees in my greenhouse. So tropicals need to come in, and I'm kind of, even though I try and work ahead as much as I can, I'm still behind the 8 ball. My greenhouse needs to be completely emptied, scrubbed down, and I need to reorganize everything in there. And bring in all my tropicals at this point and get them more acclimatized to that location. Because they don't like anything really below 55. It's not their favorite thing. And I'm not bringing them in the house because I just have too many. It's bananas. There's just no way I can manage that anymore. I can bring some in. Some of them I have to bring in. I was sad to have lost some of my plants last year in the winter. Last year was the first winter that I put all of my tropicals outside and just hoped for the best. I had some heaters in my greenhouse. Most of them lived. Some of them died. And the ones that died, like all of them died, not just like 1 or 2 of that variety. Sorry, I've got plants falling over here. Okay. So there's some things I need to bring in. Things that are super non-tolerant of the cold. Papaya trees. Look at my dang lipstick. Sorry, guys. Papaya, the starfruit all died. My sea almonds all died. What else? Things that were surprisingly happy out there were all my mangoes, all my avocados, the tamarinds were happier than pigs in poop. Pineapples are fine. Anything that's a frost tender perennial, they're happy out there. They'll all live through. My hanging baskets, they're all happy. They all came back. My strawberries and my tuberous begonias and things like that. So what I need to do, I'm starting to make my list of end of season things to do. I have a couple things I need to transplant still. Some plants I wanted to make sure weren't in that hot heat. We had a super hot couple of weeks with not a lot of rain, and it would have been a lot of stress on them to put them in. So I was just waiting until that cooler weather hit, and they're going to go in soon. So I have a couple perennials that need to go in. I have some Schisandra vines, and I have an American persimmon tree that I need to get in, and I have some perennial cannas that I'm questioning. They're saying they're perennials. I'm going to sort of believe it. Last year I brought them in because I just didn't trust it. I took them into the greenhouse and they were quite happy to come back. But this year they're busting through the pot. I've got a lot of them, a lot of bulbs in there. So I'm going to cut it in half. I'm going to put half in the ground, and I'm going to bring the other half in just to make sure. Last year I had 3 stands of bananas This year I have 3 stands. I have one in the front that I started. I'm hoping that that takes as well. But they have pups. Some of them have pups, and they're big enough to transplant at this point. So I'm going to hurry up and get some transplanted in different places and hope that that taproot will take. So I've got some big ones here. I'm going to separate them off, put them in some sheltered spots. So out of my 3 stands last year, I had 1 stand that came back. Thank goodness I took some pups and I put them in my greenhouse in some big bins, and that's what I'm going to do as well. So I'll move a couple of these, and then the rest are going to go into bins. The babies, the puppies, they're going to come with me into the greenhouse just to make sure that I've got them. Now this is a Hearty banana. This is called a Musabascu. It's a Hearty banana, and it's perennial to zone 6, I believe. And here we are. They did come back. One of the stands did come back, and they came back happily and healthy and grew a ton of pups for me, and I was able to move some of them and start new stands. So hopefully they've had enough time to establish themselves. Last year when I got them, it was mid to late summer, and maybe that's why all of them didn't take, just the one that had the most sun. So let's hope for those. I have a lot of cleanup to do, a lot of branches to cut, a lot of seeds to collect, and a lot of canning to do still. Now check out my amaranths. They are like 10, 12 feet tall. What a beautiful bunch of plants. All food. The greens are all food and edible. Not only do they feed us, they also feed my chickens. And then the seed heads have seeds in them. Well, let me see if I can get some here. Yeah, here. These little black seeds, the black ones. There we go. Can you see that? Anyway, that's a grain. So you can shake the seed heads and collect the grain and use that as a grain, and it's a gluten-free grain. So if you have celiac problems or anything like that, anyone in your family has a gluten issue, then this is a good little option. So it's like a dual purpose. Not only that, these stalks are super strong. You can keep these stalks standing strong throughout the winter, and what you'll be doing is providing, well, if you leave seed heads, you'll provide some food for the local birds, the wildlife, throughout the winter. Also, the native insects, so your pollinators like bees and things like that, have to find places to hide, and these are really great places for them to hide. So if you leave the stalks up, they will definitely keep. In the spring, I just knock them all down and smash them in and just start planting around them. And the ground just happily eats them up. In fact, I don't really see anything left from last year on the floor. So there you go. But you can dual purpose everything. You want to keep your pollinators close. You want to keep your pollinators happy. That's the whole point of growing your own food. You need those pollinators. It's very important. So looking after the natives is a good idea. So yeah, a lot of cleanup, harvesting seeds, harvesting the rest of the fruit, harvesting the medicine, the leaves and things like that from the trees. Oh, thank you. It's actually not even the lipstick anymore. It's just like the lip liner. We've been eating pears and apples and plums and some grapes. But thank you. You should have seen it earlier. It was really nice. Yeah, just the cleanup, starting to get things organized for the winter. So I've done if you're worried about not having anything ready yet food-wise, you still have some time to start some seedlings that will grow all the way through to the frost. Some things will even grow through light snow and the frost. So what I've got are these hardy root vegetables, hardy leafy greens, things like that, radishes, things that grow really quickly. Anything that's a root crop, carrots you can still get some in. I already have beans started, and you would already have wanted to start them. But I'm reaping the rewards at this point. They like that cool weather, the peas and the beans, and we're getting a lot of peas and beans. There are a lot of herbs that are still happy. I have dill that's just sprouted. You know, it's a strange summer. Some things did super well, and it's like this every year. Some things do really well, and it surprises you. And then things that you're counting on didn't do so hot or took forever. Like I have some, like for instance, this begonia, as I'm looking at her, this begonia right here just bloomed last week. it has been planted since the spring in a prime location. It gets lots of sun, and it just didn't pop. I've got geraniums that just popped that I planted bulbs. They were one of the first things in the ground. It's really strange. I got lots of onions in. Parsnips are only thing that you can't get in right now that you won't get a full crop from. That's a root vegetable. Also potatoes. You would have already had to start your potatoes. However, I have an experiment going this year. I bought some extra seeding potatoes at the end of the season when everything was on clearance and everyone was done planting them. And I've kept them in a cool, dry location, dark location, to keep them kind of where they are. So my potatoes are almost ready to harvest. Some of them have died back. I have to wait 2 weeks before I can pull them up out of the ground. Once I do that, sometimes you accidentally leave things in the ground that you didn't know were there. So you might have some baby potatoes there that you accidentally left, and next season you'll see them sprouting and you'll be like, I didn't plant you, you're from last year. So why not, as you're pulling out your potatoes, plant new ones? So that's what I'm doing. I'm going to try and do this at such a time where it's about to get super cold. That way my potatoes won't start sprouting, right? They won't sprout and create a plant and then die back. So my plan is to already have them planted and see how that goes for next spring, and they'll be the first things popping up. If not, I buy some more seeding potatoes and I make it happen in the spring. It's not a big deal. But I have a sneaking suspicion that this might be a really good way to go, especially if you're already digging up your whole yard to pull up your potatoes. Why not plant some more while you're at it? Right? Save time. That's my opinion. I need to save time. Time is my greatest nemesis. I'm always working against the clock. So that's what I'm doing. I just wanted to get it on here with you guys. It's been a really strange month. We've had a lot of family crises going on. Mom went in the hospital. She had a life-saving surgery. It's just been a lot of some trauma going on here. And I've been very busy trying to handle that, and very busy trying to manage the harvest and organizing things for the fall. That being said, since fall is here and it's upon us, I have to be winter ready. So the greenhouse, again, has to be ready. I need to make sure I have a backup heater that's working. I'm also going to be putting up the poly again over top of my gazebo. And I wasn't going to, and I still don't really want to because it's a real job. However, it can increase our food production and also gives me a good jump start in the spring on the plants that I'm able to start much quicker than just in the greenhouse or in my windowsill in the house, which I don't want to do. So it really does give me a jump start. It's just kind of a pain. I need to keep the plastic really taut or it blows too much because we have really wicked winter here. I put concrete blocks on the side and the winds can blow and knock them off, and it makes me nervous because we have dogs and I don't want them blowing off and hurting someone. So it's kind of like a little bit of a headache. Some days I'm out here, I see the plastic blowing in the wind and I'm like, oh no, and I've got to get out there in the snow, and it's kind of pain. But you do what you have to do, I guess. And this year has been a very strange year, especially with COVID and worries of food shortages and worries of, decreased income and things like that. You got to do what you've got to do. So I know I can make it work because I did it last year. I just kind of feel about doing it. It's kind of a bummer. It's hard to get that plastic up. It's very heavy. I have it all together in one piece. Last year I pieced it together and that was kind of tough too. So I don't know what's going to be the hardest, if it's harder to do it that way or if it's, I don't know. Anyway, we'll see. Then I've got my hoop house in the front that I've got to get together. I have quite a few things already started. Again, you saw some of my seeding trays. I've got a number of them going. So I'm just going to plant whatever I can in there and fit in there. And then I get the poly over top and lock that in. My only issue with that is that animals tend to want to burrow underneath. They can burrow from far away. So it doesn't matter how much plastic I have unless I've dug underneath and I've put chicken wire underneath. I'm not saving that. So I have to be diligent about pests, and you don't want them stealing your food. So I've got to climb in there in the middle of winter. So it's just winter is like for me because I foresee a lot of crappy jobs that I have to do. But again, there is a lot of peace of mind knowing that you have food outside growing even though it's snowing. So, buck up, Buttercup. That's just where we're at. It's not summer, it's winter, but I can still make things happen. Not only that, I've got my greenhouse, and provided that I keep it nice and tidy, and I'm able to get my tropicals in time, and I'm not rushing, I can make sure that I have some kind of sustenance in there as well going. So that's all fine and dandy. I'm staggering some crops right now. I've got radishes and onions, all kinds of things I'm continuing planting constantly here. I've got rutabagas and I've got turnips in the ground. We've got spinach is quite happy in this cool weather. I have sorrels. I have some perennial things like sorrel and things like that going in as well. What else? Oh, the chickens. The chickens are fantastic. I'm having a great time. Everyone is reaping the benefits of eating fresh eggs every single day. They're producing quite well. They seem to be a lot more comfortable now that it's a little bit cooler weather. I have some bigger breeds who are very full of feathers. They're very well plumed. And I was most concerned about winter and keeping the chickens warm in winter, making sure I had Hearty chickens for that. But I do see that they struggled in the summer with the heat, so I had to make sure that I kept them cool and I had the umbrella up. But that all being said, we made it through, and now they look all really comfortable. They're happy with this little bit cooler weather. So that's good. I'm glad that we have some production going on. I don't know how much that's going to dip. Again, I'm a newbie with this, so I don't know how many less eggs we're going to have come the winter, but I think they're very happy. I'm making sure that they're eating very well. I'm trying to beef up their immunity before winter to make sure everyone's healthy and happy. And we've got the coops organized so that it's going to be nice and warm. So that's all being said. All in all, it was a good year. We had really great peppers. That pepper project that I did really turned out well. I'm very happy with that, and I'll be doing the exact same thing next year. That was probably the best way to grow peppers I have, and they were all in well, not all. Most of my peppers were in containers, and it was amazing. I was able to create garden where I never had one, basically, because I was doing containers. It was in a very hot, very sunny location where nothing else will grow, and the peppers were quite happy and tolerant of that, provided they got enough water. So that being said, I had so many varieties of pepper. It was really a lot of fun, and it's a lot of fun to see. Right now they're in full fruit, and I'm harvesting them daily pretty much. So I'm organizing those. And yeah, just fall planting. So pulling out all the things that have already finished blooming and producing. Now I'm putting fall crops in, and I started early in the middle of summer, I would say, putting in some fall crops to start. So I have kale and things that are ready to go, like that, spinach, kale, beets, radishes, and stuff like that, all ready to go. Lettuces are quite happy in this cool weather. So they are, and Swiss chards, lots of those, they're pretty. They're happy, they're ready to go, we're already eating on them, and that's fantastic. And now I've got staggered crops starting again so that we can continue to have really happy, healthy crops. Yep. So that's what I've done. This year I put tons of perennials in, trying to save myself a lot of work in future years and hoping that we reap the benefits. Trying to put in as many berry and fruit trees as possible. And I know we will benefit from that. Yep. So just a lot of work. I see a lot of work ahead of me. It's just a lot of cleanup, tidying up, and starting the new season. And that's you just got to roll with it. So that's being said, I do know I don't have the full schedule yet for JAHealing, but we're going to be doing some more gardening and self-sufficiency workshops throughout October, and I'll give you the dates coming up here really soon. So make sure you get to JAHealing and maybe just ask them, JAHealing.com, or check them out on Instagram or Facebook, and you can already get pre-registered with those events. I do know that if you register with all of the events that I'm doing for the month, they often give you a discount, so you can also ask them for that. And I hope to see you. We're going to be talking about permaculture and organic growing and growing all of your own food and medicine. We can talk about greenhouses and chickens and any kind of suburban homestead questions that you may have. I can give you very honest answers. I've been doing this for a very long time, and I've tried a lot of things. I've experimented with a lot of things, and I've failed some things. So I can give you some good knowledge and some good wisdom as to where to start growing your own food. If you want to be more self-sufficient, self-reliant, self-sustenant, and separate yourself from the system a bit and having to be reliant upon them, this is a good place to start. Okay? So check us out. We'll be coming soon, coming at you. But I just wanted to touch base with you again because you're probably all wondering what happened to Kim. What happened to the garden? Look at these beautiful things. I have to stand up here to show you. Like, wow. It's amazing. I love my amaranth. Anyway, all right, everybody. Well, we'll see you soon. Be a champion in your garden, in your kitchen, wherever you are. Enjoy the last few days of summer. September 22nd marks the first day of fall. All right? Talk to you soon. Bye. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Much appreciated. Talk to you soon.